This video is sponsored by Rocket Money. Past Lives is a movie entirely based around feeling, with little dialogue and not much explanation. It's a movie that relies entirely on you fully picking up on the emotion in front of you. Gorgeously shot, perfectly written. It's a heartbreaking story that teeters on being a romantic movie, all centered around a love that can never happen again. It's a masterpiece that deserves all of the support and awards it could ever receive. I think it's easily one of the best movies to come out this year, if not the last 5 years. It's subtle, it's quiet, it's a movie that is entirely vibes. Sorry, I ruined it. 2023 was one of the greatest years for movies ever. Blockbusters failed, artful passion projects soared, fan favorites released, and there was a Good Burger too for some reason. This was one of the most incredible years. It feels like a year where everyone collectively grew up and was fed up of being fed the same slop over and over again. People only put their time and energy into stuff that truly mattered to them. The stuff that was different and went the extra mile to tell a story that didn't just want to be told, but needed to be told. And so, to celebrate an incredible year in movies, here are my favorites in no order whatsoever, because it's really impossible to rank these. And also, I want to throw in some random first watches that I want to highlight and think other people should watch. Bottoms is the funniest movie of the year. It simply is. Starring Io Edeberry and Rachel Sennett, written and directed by Emma Seligman, it's a comedy that defies all rules of reality, not allowing itself to be grounded in any reality and not telling you what's fiction and just focusing on what matters the most, the comedy. There are some jokes in this movie that had me crying with laughter, feeling humor I haven't felt since I first discovered Family Guy. I'm kidding about that. But besides the comedy, this movie has a lot of joy. It just shows a huge appreciation to the classic comedies that come before it, not just referencing them, but adapting them to the modern age and retaining everything about them that made them so enjoyable in the first place. Bottoms is an absolute treat, and I recommend it to everyone. Evil Dead Rise is a horror movie that I haven't been able to stop thinking about. As a longtime Evil Dead fan, this was everything I could have wanted. It retains all the intense gore that fans will love, while also keeping it funny in its own disgustingly evil way. The family dynamic in this one was one of my favorites in the series. I truly was heartbroken to see anything happen to anyone because I just really loved everyone involved. Everyone is so cool and lively, they all just love each other so much and feel like a real family. And seeing everything go down just absolutely kills your entire being. The scares are really great. They had me squirming and jumping. That elevator scene especially making me scared of elevators for the entire year. One time I got really high and refused to go in a scary elevator with my friends in New York because I just had traumatic flashbacks to this moment. Also, this movie has the greatest title drop of the year. Blackberry is a corporate biopic that got sadly lumped in with every other average biopic this year. With movies like Air and Flaming Hot being just fine, Blackberry was one to separate itself from all of these and still being watched the least. Matt Johnson is one of the biggest unsung heroes of this generation because he makes amazing stuff, and this movie is no different. It's funny, intense, and the performances are out of this world. Glenn Howerton genuinely gives the best performance of his career, being so outwardly commanding and terrifying, but in a way that you still kind of root for him even though he's pretty much the antagonist. This is a movie that should not be labeled as another biopic for a company. I mean, this is the only one to release where it's about how the Blackberry failed and missed its chance and could not adapt as time went on. It's a really great movie that I think deserves a lot more appreciation than it got. Also, ProZD is in it, so give it a watch please. Paddleton is a movie starring Everybody Loves Raymond and that one awesome guy from Crete. It's a slow movie about hanging out with your best buddy and doing the simple things together like watching movies and just chilling. By the end, it will take your heart and stab it 1,000,000 times over and you'll be left empty and depressed. Great movie, give it a watch, it was awesome. Killers of the Flower Moon shows that even an 81-year-old man can still run circles around every other bozo with a camera. It's a destructive, terrible, true tale that shows the real evil of this world. Not a single second of its 3-hour and 26-minute runtime is wasted. Not 1 second. Heck, spoilers, sorry, go to this part of it if you don't want spoilers, but I was struggling. I was dying to find a moment in the theater to go to the bathroom because I am weak. I'm a very weak man, and I really went to go pee during the one moment before the house explosion scene. I really did that, and that is something I'll be regretting for the rest of my life. So don't be like me. Don't drink water before this movie. Let it wash over you. Let it capture your attention to the fullest. Respect and appreciate the story for what it is. Give it your all, because Marty sure did. He always does. I love him. Now, you know what I also love? Saving money, which you can do with this video's sponsor, Rocket Money. I recently found out that I've been paying for a gym membership I haven't been going to for years. I mean, you can obviously tell, look at me. And I tried canceling it, but they said I have to come in person, which that's annoying. I'm not gonna do that. The place is like 100 miles away. And so I signed up for Rocket Money and they helped me out by canceling it for me. No joke, I've actually been using Rocket Money for months now. It's actually really helpful. Rocket Money is an all-in-one finance app that lets you track your spending and help you cancel unwanted subscriptions. It's no joke that I'm in a lot of debt. Everyone knows this, but Rocket Money has actually helped me make a budget for myself and start saving to get myself out of this hole. It can also help you monitor your credit score, which I think is important. I don't know, I'm not very smart. Take control of your finances today by signing up for Rocket Money using my link in the description or by going to rocketmoney.com/24frames. rocketmoney.com/24frames. Now back to the video. Oppenheimer is what happens when you let a man cook. He destroys the whole world. Sorry, but this movie is perfect and there's no other way to put it. It's Nolan's best movie ever made and from start to finish has a message to say. It captures a man who really did doom us all inevitably and does it with the best score, the best cast, the best editing and visual flair and effects you could ever see. It's also grounded that even Josh Peck didn't rip you out of the movie when he appears. It's a fantastic movie. And also, if you don't understand the purpose of the sex scenes and keep calling them unnecessary, then I think you're really stupid. John Wick 4 is an obvious masterpiece. Go watch it. Dog Day Afternoon is one of the most insane true stories you could ever witness. Al Pacino is an absolute nutcase scrambling to keep everything under control in the most bizarre bank robbery ever seen. At times it feels like a skit out of a sitcom or cartoon with the timing of everything going on, but it's the fact that all of it actually happened which makes it much more entertaining. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is what happens when you dedicate yourself to what you love. The Turtles IP is always adapting and changing, constantly becoming an entirely new genre or changing art styles, just becoming anything it wants. And somehow it always works each time, and here is no different. You get to see an uncompromising style of gross sludge and New York grime perfectly grabbing the turtles and slapping them in the modern age. Sometimes it commits too much to the same joke, but I think that's fine as long as it's grabbing new kids to be fans. This is an IP that will always exist and be there when you need it, and I'm so glad to see a movie like this exist. Five Nights at Freddy's, no I'm kidding, but imagine. The Holdovers is one of those instant Christmas classics that you'll put on every single year. It's a mandatory comfort movie that may stray away from basic comforts we tend to see, but more grabs you when you're feeling lonely and gives you a big giant hug. Paul Giamatti gives a career-defining performance that I'll be thinking about well until I'm the age of his character, and then I'll wonder myself if I turned out like him or not. And you know what? I won't mind if I do. Dominic Sessa, who stars in his first movie ever, shows that sometimes people are just naturally gifted because god dang, this kid is a great actor! And Davine Joy Randolph might be top 5 humans to ever exist. I love her so much. This movie is warm, loving, and everything you need on Christmas if you tend to always be left alone and not have anyone to spend it with. The Boy and the Heron is a story about crafting your own legacy. With one as staggering as Hayao Miyazaki's, it's amazing seeing a movie that captures all the feelings that one could have about such a career and journey, while also being a great story in general. It's full of everything you love from classic Ghibli movies, all while proving that you can tell a mature story within animation. Death. It comes for us all, but what aspect about it fears you? The fact that it's coming, or the fact that you aren't ready? Either way, what will you do now? Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is what happens when the director just doesn't want to make a sequel to his own movie and says, you know what, I'm gonna do whatever the heck I want to do. Unlike the slow, methodical tragedy of the original, this one leans heavily into the absurd, making every element a comedic skit that almost parodies what the first is, and it all works. There's a scene where Leatherface is basically having sex with a girl with his chainsaw, and that might be my favorite scene I've watched all year. Asteroid City shows that Wes Anderson's style of filmmaking will never get old. With a beautiful setting, amazing characters, and the best original song of the year, it might easily be my favorite Wes movie right behind Mr. Fox and Grand Budapest Hotel. The balcony scene especially giving me goosebumps all over in a way that I can't really describe. It's truly special and I love it so much. Godzilla Minus One is a Godzilla movie without the boring garbage stories of the American counterparts. While yes, I love me a big monster movie, I love seeing giant lizard fight monkey, you are constantly forced to put up with hours of human characters that you just don't care about, and you don't care about them because the movie doesn't care enough to make you. It makes the big dumb fun actiony the only thing you'll ever go back to watch for. But here in Godzilla Minus One, Japan shows yet again why they are the true masters of the Godzilla story. With a very, very small budget, they spend the time crafting the characters you follow. Yes, there actually isn't much Godzilla here in this movie, but when the characters are actually good and well written, that isn't an issue. They make a realistic story about survivor's guilt and purpose, questioning why we must give our lives in certain ways, if it's worth it. It's a beautiful story that stands on its own without Godzilla. But with Godzilla, you get one of the most terrifying renditions, a nuclear powerhouse that will kill everything it comes in contact with. You have no choice but to run and hide. You have to escape or somehow fight back. Anatomy of a Fall is a courthouse murder mystery all centered around finding out if the main character murdered her own husband. What you find out and learn along the way, changing the perception of everyone you meet. It's very entertaining and mature and has the best child performance of the year by this kid, Milo Machado. Give it a watch, I promise you'll enjoy it. Poor Things is my favorite movie of the year. Directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, starring Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo, Rami Youssef, Christopher Abbott, Gerard Carmichael, Margaret Qualley, Willem Dafoe, and so many more amazing people. This is a masterpiece that I will be thinking about my entire life. You meet Bella Baxter, a sewn together cadaver who has no choice but to learn about the world around her. It's a movie about discovery, juggling a billion aspects of life, moving on from one to the next so seamlessly, just like we have to in our everyday lives. It's beautiful, it's stunning, it's everything I love about movies and more. The set design is bombastic and colorful, showing a world that is so alien to ours visually, but so similar in the way that it works. The skies are paintings constantly morphing into different amalgamations of chemical and cotton, and yet despite the amazing world design, it never distracts from the characters currently in those scenes. The point of view through Bella's curiosity constantly keeps you on your toes, and you have no choice but to see how she stumbles through it and comes out on top. Emma Stone is a chameleon, becoming not just Bella Baxter, but Bella Baxter at every stage of her life. She transforms multiple ways in one role to be an entirely new person in every scene. She's always learning, always thinking. The characters around her are so full of life. Mark Ruffalo is such a hilarious scumbag that steals so many scenes. It's seriously a special movie that I'm really happy exists, and I'm so happy to be able to watch movies like this in my lifetime. This was an incredible year for movies, and there are still so many great ones I didn't even talk about. This year had something for everyone, and despite all the ones I personally hated, they at least gave some people joy. Mario and Five Nights at Freddy's are honestly monumental releases, and to happen in the same year is amazing. And despite my grievances with them and all of my jokes, I'm happy for everyone who gets to enjoy them, because whether you're an action movie fan, a romance fan, a rom-com fan, a horror fan, a historical epic fan, weird, absurd, animation, or musical, there is something for you this year. I'm grateful for yet another year in movies. I'm very excited to see what comes out next year. I've had a really tough year. I've been struggling with a lot behind the scenes, and it's been really hard for a very long time. I want to say that things will be better next year, but you never know. There's a lot going on for me mentally, but the thing is, I want to keep fighting. I really do. And I want to give people a reason to listen to me, so I have a reason to listen to myself. I didn't realize how long I've been uploading videos on this channel. I can't believe I'm 25 years old. I'm older than the channel name now. That's crazy. But I'm grateful to everyone that has stuck with me this far, and I hope to give you a reason to keep sticking with me next year. There's some things that I really want to do, and I hope I actually do them next year. But overall, thanks for listening.